Welcome to the Happiness and Success After Illinois Tech podcast with the Illinois Tech alumni. We're so happy you're here, and we can't wait for you to be inspired from all these real-life stories of people that attended Illinois Tech, graduated, and found success. No matter your major, your background, or where you're from, success and happiness are possible, and here are the stories to prove it. Welcome, everyone. My guest this week is Alysia DeSimone. Welcome, Alysia.
Hi.
Hi. So Alysia and I met when our older son, Jake Bruns, who's also been on this podcast, was at Illinois Tech. And Alysia is the fiance of one of Jake's good friends from college at Illinois Tech, which is fun for me that they're still connected. And we think very fondly of Bear, too. So shout out to Bear. I'm just going to do that now. So tell everyone what you studied. So I don't know your background at all. I don't know how you found Illinois Tech and what you wanted to major in. And I know what you do now, but so tell everyone how you discovered Illinois Tech and what you ended up graduating with is what you started with. Let's start there.
Yeah, so I found Illinois Tech in kind of a roundabout way. I'm originally from the Philadelphia area, and I wasn't really like looking for schools in Chicago, but one of my best friends toured the school and was like, "Oh, I think you would love this." And I kind of didn't really know what I wanted to major in college, but I was really interested in like chemistry and engineering, so chemical engineering kind of came about. And Illinois Tech has a really great program for that. And then I came to visit for scholarship symposium. I actually visited quite a few times. And I kind of just fell in love with the type of people that were at Illinois Tech, and kind of the general environment and kind of like a fun, nerdy environment that I thought I would fit in really well with. Yeah, so I ended up majoring, my bachelor's degree is in chemical engineering, and then I ended up also declaring a master's in the co-terminal program of environmental engineering.
Wow. So you were at Illinois Tech the entire time?
Yeah, so I was at
Yeah.
Illinois Tech the entire
Okay.
time. Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's so cool. I did know you were from the Philadelphia area. Now that you said that, I'm like, oh, okay, that's right. So it's funny that your friend said, I think you'd like that. And then you came here, and every time you came to Chicago, you were like, yeah, I think I would fit in there well. It's good.
Yeah, I was kind of like ended up talking to the soccer coach too, and then ended up playing soccer, which is a good benefit that was like not initially, I guess, established when I came to visit the school because I was kind of like undetermined if that's something that I wanted to do in college, but it was also an opportunity that came up when I like got to come to Illinois Tech. Yeah, and everybody was so great. So I really enjoyed
Yeah,
visiting.
I couldn't remember. I was going to ask you, did you play sports or not? So you played soccer.
Hmm.
Cool. That's awesome. Okay, so chemical engineering and then environmental engineering is your master's. So when you were at Illinois Tech and you were trying to did you have internships? Did you have multiple? One? How did you go about doing that?
Yeah, so I had a couple different things. It was kind of a weird scenario because I did graduate like around the COVID era. So I did have a couple different internships. Then I also had some research opportunities that kind of also qualify, I guess, as internships sort of over the
Mhm.
summer. So I did have my background is kind of like a mixture of various opportunities. So I actually had a research um, project span for like 2 years in the chemistry department, like outside of the engineering department, which is what I actually fell in. I also had an internship at a semiconductor gas plant in Pennsylvania. I had another research opportunity in the environmental engineering department. I did a research project under David Lampert. And then I also had an internship at Argonne National Laboratory. That
Okay.
was all virtual because that was during COVID.
Okay. How did you go about those internships, getting them? Like, was it through LinkedIn or was it through your professors or your classes?
So the research opportunities were definitely through my professors. Basically, they were ended up doing research on topics that I found really interesting. And I feel like the professors at IIT do a lot of research, and they always need additional support in the lab. So it was pretty easy to reach out and be like, "Hey, I'm interested in this topic. Can you tell me more about it? Like, I would love to be a part of your lab." And that's initially how I got started. I believe it was the second semester of my freshman year, my one research project. And that actually led to me getting the like Elevate scholarship from IIT, which is basically summer funding for a project. So that's what I ended up doing the summer after my freshman year. Yeah, as far as the other opportunities that kind of came about via Indeed and a lot of like LinkedIn job searching.
Okay, so you were searching, you were doing the old school method of getting out there and seeing what was available.
Exactly.
Okay. Did your did your network connections play a part in any of that, or were you kind of just applying and getting lucky?
Kind of just applying. I'm a first generation college student, so I don't have a ton of like resources, I guess, in the engineering realm, like in my initial network. Um, so it took a lot of effort, I guess, to build my own sort of network at this point. And yeah, like I relied a lot on LinkedIn. The career fair actually really helped. The job that I have now, I randomly interviewed for an internship for them like 2 years before too. So they knew who I was like before.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Um,
From the career
yeah,
fair, like you met them at the career fair and interview with them, and then nothing came of it, and then 2 years later you're working for them.
exactly. Yeah. And
Awesome.
it was before the initial company was like bought out too. So one of the people that interviewed me, like we work together now. So it's kind of fun.
Oh, that is fun. That's so cool. I'm
Mhm.
glad I'm glad you mentioned that because some students are like, is it worth it? And I always say you just never know where things are going to lead. So even if there's not a company there that would hire specifically you, you're going to see what else is available. And not everything they're hiring for that moment is stuff they hire for all the time. So you just don't know what people are going to need and having conversations. You don't know where they came from. You don't know where they're going. The person that you're talking to at the career fair might actually be going to another job that would be at a company that would be great for you. And they loved you at the career fair. You just don't know. So I always say, just put a couple hours into it. Just they're on your campus, walk over to the building and just go. You have nothing to lose.
Yes, I would say it's totally worth it. And I think sometimes too, as a student, it's really difficult to like ask for help or feel like to reach out to those resources for help because I feel like you're so used to being independent and like asking for help in some cases feels like failure a lot of
Okay.
time. As a student, I feel like in the workforce now, I'm so much more willing to like show up or like send the email to a stranger or something like that. And I feel like that's something that I would tell people, like encourage people to do. Like go to the career fair, even if you're not looking for a specific job, like talk to everybody. There's even been like other roundabout connections too of like people that I ended up doing like I was involved with several clubs on campus and some people that we were involved with an event that also kind of is in the industry that I am now and ran into them in some like industry events. So it's really cool. And like a lot of people that you meet in the career fair, like you might actually end up meeting or like running into in other aspects.
Yeah, it's funny. At one of the career fairs we had recently, there were two people from the company, and one was a new employee, and one was someone more my age. And the new employee was someone who did an internship for them, and now she's at the career fair interviewing people to come work for them full time. So yeah, you just never know where things are gonna turn up, land, and what's gonna come about certain conversations. So that's the whole point. Get out there, especially after COVID. Everyone's connecting more, which is great, and meeting in person. But you're I know everyone's a little bit shyer. First of all, college students are shy about that to begin with, but then especially because they haven't been connected to people in the real world during the pandemic. So now everyone's just a little bit shyer about it, but you got to get over that if you want to stand out and have opportunities, and not everyone's going to have.
Yeah, totally. And that's what I was saying. Like I feel like Illinois Tech creates a very like large network, especially because we are all STEM majors. Like we have such a large network of alumni that have really amazing jobs that you can reach out to. And I feel like as a student, I was really scared to be like, I've never met this person, and we have like our like alma mater in common. It's kind of
Mm-hmm.
scary to reach out. But now being on the other end of that and being the person that like went to the career fair to hire and like being the person that people reach out to ask questions or like understand what my company does, like it, I don't know, it felt like such an inconvenience being the person to ask the questions. But now on the other side, like it's really easy to help. And also like I'm trying to get everybody like jobs or opportunities if I can, because like I know what it's like to be in that position.
I know. I tell them it is a special group of people graduating and going here, and they want to help. The people that have graduated, they remember where they were and what it was like, even if it's 30 years later. They want to help because they know, number one, it's a great school, and you being there and graduating from there means you're super smart, and obviously resourceful and all these other great qualities. But then it's like they want to help because they remember what it was like, and they know that you couldn't be there if you weren't smart. So it's like you got to reach out. And it's so much easier now. When I was in college, we didn't have LinkedIn. We couldn't say, all right, what alumni go to this, work at this company. Now it's just you type it in and up come 10 names or 100 names. And there's people that want to help you
Yeah,
on those
it's
names.
so yeah, it's like so easy now. You just have to get over the like mental hurdle of like doing the reaching out.
Yeah,
Yeah, and honestly, like I feel like too, even if you know somebody by like a third party connection, reach out and they can always put you into contact with somebody that's like can get you the information that you want about the company or get you kind of the position that you're looking for, even if they don't have the same job that you want.
agree. Great. It's great advice. Is there anything you wish you'd known sooner, considering your career or education at Illinois Tech or what you're doing now?
I think one thing, kind of, we already talked about this a little bit, but I think I would really utilize the resources like at IIT and just like in the university setting in general, like go to the career fair. Like I did go to like a lot of the career fairs, but I don't think I utilized like career services maybe as much as I should have. And really like having a solid resume and having like other people look at it and really like look to see what skills you want to highlight are important to the industry that you're looking for, can like be super helpful. And honestly, even like creating your network in college, I think is super important too. Like having professors that you have a relationship with that could give you a recommendation or even like connect you with their network is so important. Um,
I
I
know
think,
it
yeah,
is.
I think it's I don't know. Like I said, it's just hard to reach out for help sometimes, especially like what you said with COVID. It makes it a little bit more difficult and a little bit scarier, but it's not scary and people are very willing to help.
Yes, people are willing. That's what you have to remember. And if you don't, someone else is going to ask and they're going to get the thing you want and they're just going to get a little further ahead. So get comfortable doing it. It's not going to kill you and it's just going to set you up for more success sooner. I'm sure.
Exactly. Yeah, I would say another thing too is like like aside from I guess the academic resources at IIT, I would go and like join clubs or like anything that you're remotely interested in. Try to get involved because there's almost always like a club or organization or something that's involved with it. And you'll get an idea if you like it or not. And I think that's really important, or it'll help to push you in like a specific direction for a career.
I
Because
love
I
that.
think, yeah, I think a lot of people like it's hard to set goals post graduation or even know what you want to do. Because it's hard to know, like in my case, it's hard to know exactly what an engineer does, like in the real world. And it took me having like I had the internship at the semiconducting gas plant. And I found out like the internship was like great, the people were great, but I found out I didn't want to do what like chemical engineers normally do and work on a plant.
Yeah.
So that was like skills that I could check off the list, kind of.
Yes, that's it. So it's okay that you didn't want to continue doing that, but you learned something about yourself. So now that's off the table and it makes it that much easier to get the next thing you want.
10 out of 10. Yeah, I would say that's like advice that I would give too is like it's just as valuable to have jobs that you don't like because then you know what not to look for in the future.
Yes, I agree 100%. Yeah, because it's just more information. People, oh, I made a mistake. I'm majoring in this and I don't like it. Now that's okay. You're the good news is you're in college and you can switch your major. You can take it on another class. You can change the direction. You're not done yet. And even if you were just about to be done, you still can change the direction. You can research more. You can talk to people. You can network. There's always someone willing to give you information or something you can check out or learn more about. But definitely follow the path that you were saying. If it's interesting to you, there's some inkling of you being, like, okay, I'm kind of passionate about this. Let me see where this lies. Those are breadcrumbs. It's leading you to something better. And if you get there and you're like, whoa, 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 I was wrong. I did that. I had a master's in teaching. I'm like, I don't want to teach in schools. I think I'll teach in business. That's how I ended up being in learning development and training development all these years. But I was like, I know there's a combination. I know I can use my business degree and my teaching degree and go do something in the business world. No one told me that. I just was instinctively, okay, I can combine these two things. It's not just, oh, you have a teaching degree, now you have to go do this. You learn something new about yourself and it's something you said you don't want anymore. It's information and that's awesome. And now, and then you're going to learn something else better about yourself. And then you can use those skills and say, okay, I know I need to be in this environment. This is better for me. Now, every job going forward can be more like that environment. It's great information and you don't have to think about it as failure, just think about it as information.
Exactly. Yeah, and
Yeah.
to your point too, I think the types of degrees that people are getting from Illinois Tech, like you're not really pigeonholing yourself into something specific. Like these STEM degrees are applicable to all industries. Um, so like your decision on where you work for your first job or even like the subsequent jobs are not the end all be all. And that's something that's like very scary and daunting. Like when you graduate, you're told like you need to get a job and that's going to be like your career, your future. But realistically, it's kind of like a stepping stone to get to where you want. And like nowadays, people don't get their first job and like stay there for
No,
35 years.
they haven't been doing that for 20 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stepping stones. Yeah. It's the next stone. Yeah. Like that. Okay. What's the best advice you can offer college students? Someone's about to graduate, someone just got their first job. What would you say to them to guide them along their journey?
hmm so one thing I would recommend, like continuously like build your skills and your learning. Like for me, I think it's important that like I'm working at a job that I am building my skills and kind of setting myself up to still figure out like what I'm interested in and if I'm going to be interested in this in the future. Um, Also, like when you're applying for jobs, I think it's important to cast like a wide net of different like jobs that you might be interested in. Also ask a lot of questions because the way that jobs are posted online are very general and don't really give you a good idea of like what the day to day is at all. So ask a lot of questions, like try to get on interviews and kind of also interview the like that person on what the
Hmm.
job actually looks like, to get a sense of if it is something that you'd like to do. Um, and also I would say temper expectations, especially when you're like applying for your first job. It's okay to get denied. That doesn't mean like you're not a good candidate. It just might not be what they're looking for at the moment. Also like some people just or some companies don't get back to you. And like that's okay. It's not that you're a bad candidate. It's just that you need to like find where you fit in. So I don't know. I think tempering expectations because I think it's a little bit easy to get down on yourself when you get rejected. But like when I was applying for jobs, I applied to quite a few, and like there was a lot of rejections that happened a lot like before. But I ended up with like five job offers at the end. And at that point, it was like the whole goal was to get a job that I didn't really do the soul searching part of like, oh, now I have these job offers. Like, what do I actually want to do?
Yeah. Yeah. The soul searching. Yeah. I know you're just doing the thing that they tell you to do, which is you got to apply for a lot of jobs and you're going to get some rejections. But yeah, in the meantime, you're like, well, what do I really want? And that is good to do that soul searching. I think people, especially just graduating, think, okay, I just have to be willing to do whatever. I'm like, no, they don't want you to do whatever either. They don't want someone who's kind of half committed or kind of passionate about it. They want someone who's interested in them, in their company, and this job role. So if it's not a good fit, it's okay. And I always say too to them, so the no just means it's not right for you. I'm a firm believer in um, something that's meant for you will never pass you by. You're not going to, if they're saying no to you, it's because it's not the right fit for them or for you. And even though you think I'm perfect for it, there was something that wasn't going to be right. And that just means, like you said, you cast a wide net, you got some information, it's a no there, then it's another no, another no. That just means you have to look somewhere else. It's just not right for you. And even though it's nice to be wanted, just like it's nice to be, when you're trying to date someone, it's nice to be asked out on a date, it's nice, whatever. It's the same thing. You want to be wanted by everyone. But in reality, if they're not wanting you, they're not seeing you as the right fit. And even if they tried to fit square peg, round hole, that kind of thing, eventually and pretty quickly, you're going to see it wasn't a good fit. So just think of it. Okay, that's not meant for me. That's okay. That just means there's something even better out there waiting for me.
Yeah, no, totally. Yeah, and like the range of jobs that I like who were trying to hire me after I graduated, it was so different. I kind of narrowed my search. Like I knew I wanted to end up in the like energy industry. But also like I still applied for some more like environmental engineering related jobs. And kind of had like job offers all over the place for my skill set. So I was like, wow, like really, what direction do I want to go with
Hmm.
this?
That's good proof, though, for people listening that you said it in the middle of the conversation. This degree can go so many different ways. You're not pigeonholing yourself. It's not super specific. These engineering skills apply to so many different types of industries and roles and companies. So you're proof of that. Like you could do all these different things, and that just shows you that you're going to have a lot of choices, which is what I tell all of the, especially women that I coach that are with these STEM degrees. Like there's 100 people applying for this job, 20 of them might be women. That means your resume is going to go to the top of the pile because people want
Mhm.
diversity, which they should want, of course. So you're already ahead of the game. You have a lot to offer and you have a lot of choices. And And when I say it that way, they're like, oh, that's right, I do. First of all, they're just nervous as they're competing. I'm like, no, no, no. You finally get a good seat at the table and you get to go to the top of the pile. And that's how it should have been a long time ago. So take advantage of that. And you're going to have a lot of choices. Yeah. Well, thank you, Alysia. It was nice talking to you.
Yeah, you as well.
Yeah. So if people want to get in touch with you, what's the best way to connect with you or ask questions, or what do you prefer?
LinkedIn is probably the easiest. You could find me at Alysia DeSimone. I don't think there's any other people with my name.
I see. Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you. I know that this conversation is going to help at least one person, which is why I do it, but probably a lot more than one person. So thank you so much. It was a pleasure talking to you, and thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right. Bye, everyone. Have a great day.
Bye.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Check out the Illinois Tech Connect platform. It's the official networking site for Illinois Tech alumni. It's operated by Illinois Institute of Technology Alumni Association with help from Career Services. The aim of the platform is to connect our entire alumni community to provide a space for communication, networking, and other opportunities. Also, join the Illinois Tech Career Services group on LinkedIn and learn about all things career related. And be sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Finally, as an alum, whenever you need career guidance or advice, you're always welcome to connect to the Career Services Department, make an appointment with a career coach, and take advantage of this lifelong resource available to all alumni. We can't wait to help you, and more importantly, we can't wait to see what you do.